welcome back to the channel. Today is our wrap up of our 1,000-mile, 45-day bike ride epic journey, right? So it was a few things I'll share with you. It was really hard, harder than I expected. It totally screwed up my 200-mile in a day bike ride that I was planning because my legs just right now are fried. I just can't do it. But what was really cool is I found that I biked a lot less inside. I used the Peloton a lot less, really more for bad weather or an early morning ride before I got into work. So I didn't want to get out and get on the road and, try to deal with it. I can do 12 miles in about 30 minutes on the Peloton, where it takes me about 45 minutes on the road bike, 45 to 50 minutes on the road bike, and about 40 minutes on the e-bike. So from a time saving standpoint, I found that I'm obviously faster on the Peloton. A couple of reasons why. One is we're using clip-on pedals. So you guys that are familiar, I've talked about it a few times. If you don't know what a clip-on pedal is, it's essentially the piece at the bottom of the shoe that clips into the pedal on the bike. So you'll hear clipless a lot used in this language, and clipless is because the older shoes or the older bikes used to use the cage to the toe cage, which you would slide your shoe in, and that would keep that in there. They got rid of that, so they called it clipless, which basically uses a clip that ties into the bottom of the pedal. What the benefit of that does is it actually gives you the benefit of using the upward and downward motion. When you're riding a bike regularly, it's just you're pushing down. That's where you get the momentum. When you're using a clipless pedal, you're actually the pull up and the push down, so you're going to be faster. That's why you see anyone that rides competitively always, whether it's mountain bike or road bike, always uses a clipless type setup on there. I don't like the feel of it on the road, so I will never use a clipless. I tried once on my road bike. I didn't care for it, so I've actually gave away the shoes and the pedals. Just didn't trust it. But what was really cool about this, again, we've so much cool riding. I rode areas I hadn't ridden before, got a ton of great rides in. I rode every single day that I was home. I had the 4 days in Tennessee that I missed, but I still was able to finish this in 46 days, minus the 4 days I missed. So essentially we got 1,000 miles done in about 43 days, which I thought was really impressive. A lot of really good work, and it was really challenging. And I'll come back in just a minute and I'll tell you how much we did per how much we averaged for mileage, what we did for calorie burn, all that different stuff in just a second. So we'll come back and share that with you in just 1 second. All right, guys, so there's a lot of road noise here, so I figured I would just come through and quickly share with you. This is the last of my ride for the month. We got out this morning and we did about 35 miles, which is what we had left. We got a little more rides in yesterday, so we were in a pretty good position. We had to do 35 miles today. It took us a little over 2 hours. It wasn't too bad. The weather was good. A little overcast, but, relatively sunny. It was awesome to get out and do it. I was super happy to share this with you. Thank you for checking out this journey. You'll see at the end of the video, you'll see, we talk about how we finish and how many miles and all that stuff. But just super happy to go in and do this. Enjoy the rides. You've probably seen me ride this road before. This is that road between North Street in Norwood, Walpole, Westwood, out by the farms. It's always one of my favorite rides, and I can get a good ride on here where I can feel relatively safe to record while I'm recording. Forgot to bring my GoPro this morning, so I don't have a before or after. But again, thank you for checking out the journey. This has been so much fun. I don't know if I'll try it again, but 1,000 miles was more than I anticipated it would be, and it really kicked my butt. But I felt good doing it. I just regret that I'm not able to do that 200-mile ride I had talked about, because I really did want to get out and try to hit that 200 miles at some point in time. With that being said, thank you for checking out the video. Hang on to the end. We'll give you all the rundown of how many miles, how many calories, all the stuff we did, and we'll talk to you in just a little bit. Thanks. All right, so I pulled some data for us. I have my old man glasses on because I can't see without my reading glasses, but this is the data from our 1,000-mile ride. So I share with you kind of what some of the challenges were. Let's give you the raw data and what came out of it. So the total that we did obviously was 1,000 miles. It took us 64 hours, which means we averaged about 15.6 miles per hour. We burned a total of 43,000 calories. And let's break down how we did this on the ride. So the first piece we did 390 miles on the road bikes. That was our most we did on anything. We averaged about 13 miles an hour, so it takes about 30 hours, and we burned about 22,500 calories. We burned about 750 calories an hour on the road bike outside on there. The second was the most, I was on the e-bike. Now, I know some people are going to give me a hard time on this, like I'm cheating the system by using the e-bike, but the e-bike is just like riding on the Peloton on a flat road. You're still pedaling the whole time. I'm not using any type of throttle or anything, so I'm still riding the whole time on the bike. It's just obviously giving me the pedal assistance. Now, in full fairness, I only average 370 calories per hour on the e-bike, so I'm definitely not working nearly as hard as I am on the Peloton or the road bike, but it was good to get out there. And we averaged about 16.8 miles per hour. We burned about 7,000 calories on the road bike, and it took us about 19 hours to get those 330 miles. The last one we have was the Peloton. Peloton were by far the fastest, and I actually, on some of my rides, I took it relatively easy. I usually average over 20 miles an hour, but going in and looking at all the rides we did, we average about 19 miles an hour. Average calorie burning for an hour is 900. Now, on a really good ride for me, I could burn anywhere between 13 and 1400 calories. But again, some of the rides I was taking a little bit easier, especially as my legs got a little bit more tired. So it took us 15 hours in the Peloton to get the 280 miles that we got, and that was good for 13,500 calories. So when we start to look through all the whole ride, you know, it was 43,000 calories. It was 64 hours, right? So almost 3 full days of riding a bike, which was great. I totally enjoyed it. I averaged about just about 20 miles a day, or 22, 23 miles a day, and it was relatively not hard. But again, like I said, there was some parts that were easier. There were some parts that are more challenging. In the video, I'll throw in before this, most likely a little bit of content on the road, so this isn't just me talking to you. But I would tell you that the big takeaways for me were, you know, getting out consistently and riding every day. The days I had my most success were the days I got in and did an early Peloton ride, or I got out and did a bike ride early, and I had some combination of more than one ride. The days I struggle were the days where I try to average, I get all my 20 or 25 miles in all at once. So I could do it in the morning and the afternoon. It was significantly easier than trying to average, you know, throw all these rides in at one time. The cool thing is, would I do it again? Yeah, probably. I don't think I'm in the best possible shape for it today. I think when I get back down to around 200, I think this would be a lot easier. Even recently, like as my legs have been more tired and with the weight I'm carrying today, like even my 12 or 13 mile rides have been more challenging. It's definitely pushed me more and made it more difficult for me to go out and do some of these rides. So that's it on the 1,000-mile journey. Like I said, I'll throw some footage in the front here, so you should see before we even get to here some really cool bike rides. And maybe I'll put it in this spot right here. But keep an eye, you know, we always want to give you some great footage. Any questions on the biking, let us know. It was pretty cool to ride all the bikes. The only downside is my e-bike is down now. The display died on it. Avaton is sending me a new one. They were really good about it, but it's going to take a few days. So I'm down to the mountain bike and down to the other bike. And in all honesty, I totally forgot to include in my mountain bike riding. I only did a little bit. I think I did maybe 5 or 8 miles on the mountain bike off road one day, and I actually didn't even put it in these notes here. So I've actually probably a little over 1,000 miles, probably like 1,005 miles for that one time I went mountain biking. I can tell you next Saturday I'm going mountain biking with a buddy of mine, so it should be a lot of fun. But that's it, guys. Thanks for checking out the channel. As always, that's our 1,000-mile bike challenge over 45 days. It was tough, but it was definitely doable. I had a lot of fun doing it. I hope you got some good information on the data that we just shared with you on the mileage, how long it took, how many calories we burned, all that fun stuff. And with that being said, we'll talk to everybody really soon. Thanks.